Happy are your eyes because they see, your ears because they hear. I tell you most solemnly, many have desired to see what you see and did not see, to hear what you hear and they did not hear. And I ask myself, what can one make of these important words of Jesus? Inviting us to consider ourselves blessed because of what we see many generations desired to see but did not see. I think this seeks to dialogue with the first reading of today. The praise of the illustrious man, the famous man, the wonderful man whose personalities, whose achievements, whose excellence, whose brilliance made an impact on generations upon generations. I don't know if we do have a Shona saying around this particular idea from my own tribe. My tribe says, Moloko oa hwelela go ya bane. In other words, as we give birth to generation upon generation, the excellence which we, the original generators of the family, the love we had together, the traditions we shared together, when they are passed on to children, they begin to die. So that we can even say that the oak tree, the wood of the oak tree, when you put it on fire to warm yourself, tomorrow that oak tree gives birth to ashes. I don't know if you've got something along those lines. Now, when you say, blessed are your eyes because they see, your ears because they hear, it is because in the house of Joachim and Anna, we did not see the death of excellence. We did not see the disappearance of the legacy of faith, of values, of holiness, of culture, of virtue. But in the family of Joachim and Anna, Mary was born fired up with the tradition of her own parents. In fact, whenever we see the pictures of Anna and Mary, we see the mother imparting the traditions of scriptures to the daughter. And this daughter, we did not know that much later the word of God would speak to her, and in her the word would become flesh. And now much later we see Mary giving birth to a child, Jesus, and that child, when we were hoping that since an oak tree, when it produces fire, it turns into ashes. But in the house of Joachim and Anne, we see an oak tree similar. We see the miracle similar to that of Moses. The fire that is, the tree that is engulfed by fire, but it is not burned down. Now, in Jesus, you see the same fire continuing from Anne and Joachim to Mary and to Jesus, and the new community that was born of Jesus carried in it the same fire. How? What has happened to this particular family? Is it not common that every house, when traditions are received with their fire and passion and excellence and brilliance, they naturally die in posterity? But what about this family? Why does this family move from excellence to excellence? You know, it is easy to give birth to a child physically, but it is difficult to share with your child the same God. You know, one of the prayers that I make desperately every day is that I should not share only the blood with my brothers and sisters, that I may also share with them the same God. It is very difficult for a parent to share with their own children the same God. Many of you, as passionate women of St. Anne, you will be shocked. If you're not yet shocked, you will be shocked by one of your children who will tell you, your God is not my God. Yes, your people are my people, but your God is not my God. Your child one day will say to you, I think I will warm up to Vabati Vajehovah. Your child will say to you one day, your God is not my God. My God is Allah. One day your child will say to you, your God is not my God. In fact, this idea of God has been planted in our heads by the colonists wanting to control us. Actually, that God does not exist. It becomes very, very difficult to share blood with a family member and still kneel at the same corner to pray to the same God. Sometimes we find ourselves taking different directions when we kneel before the God. Now when Jesus Christ says, blessed are your eyes, because of they can see that it is not necessarily true that excellence dies with generations to come. It is not necessarily true that an oak log, an oak branch, an oak wood, when you see it around its fire tonight, tomorrow, it gives birth to ashes. There is that miraculous oak that has got a fire that burns but does not consume. And that fire continues to burn forever. And so, dear sisters, as we gather this evening, my prayer for you is that the spirit of St. Anne could truly be a spirit that also governs the affairs of your own homes. That your children may look up to you and say, I want to be like mommy. I want to be like her. And wanting to be like her, I want to walk on her footsteps and pass on to my children what I have received from my own parents. Mary is that daughter that stands between Christ and her parents. And she has passed on to her child what she herself has received. Today, in our world, we see a lot of deterioration, moral deterioration, deterioration in terms of excellence, deterioration in many ways, dilapidation, spiritual dilapidation, psychological dilapidation, material dilapidation, political dilapidation. Precisely because the generations after, they look up to these heroes. In fact, they even learn to insult the heroes and feel no obligation to walk in the footsteps of their own excellence. This church that you and I belong to is a church that seeks to try to imitate the excellence of Christ, imitate the excellence of the apostles, and to hold strong to what they taught and to pass it on unto generations to come what we ourselves have received. So, dear mothers, St. Anne compels you as a mother tonight, as a mother this weekend, to restore the place of the family. To believe that the family is a government. But the difference between the family as a government and the government that you know, the government that you vote for from time to time, the difference between that government and the government called family is that, unlike the government that we are used to, where we all line up to choose our own leaders, but the family, it is one government that votes for its own citizens. It is the parents who decide who must be voted into this particular family. And if the voter has the power, I'm told that the power is in the vote. And so if the voter has the power, then it means in the family, the mother and father, you have the power. The power rests with you. And even God says it in the book of Ecclesiastes, that I defend the rights of the parents over the rights of a child. And if truly your families are a government, and you as a parent, you are the voter of every child who is to be born into your own family, it means you must have the power and the authority over the affairs of your own children. Many of your families have given up. Oh, you see what the world we are in today. Some of the parents even call their children the children of this world. You no longer call them your own children. They're the children of this world. Parents abandoning their own children to the world. This is how you lose your vote as a parent. Many of you who are in here, you are born of mothers and fathers who had authority over you, and who were able to tell you what is right and what is wrong, and you would take their word for it. I remember when I was still growing up at home, I grew up in the so-called former Setswana, in the homeland where only Setswana was spoken. But because of Amdabele, by tradition, by culture, I tried, after going to school for a few days, beginning to enjoy Setswana. I brought that Setswana home and trying to speak Setswana at home. And my grandfather said to me, that language belongs there in the street. Not here. Not here. And in that way, I had to understand that the family has the authority. So, dear parents, Anna believed that she is the ultimate teacher of her own child. Never ever lose the authority over your own families, over your own children, to impart right values. But you will not succeed to impart right values in your children if you do not agree with your husbands. If the relationship between you and your husband, it is a relationship between Robert Mugabe and Changarai. You will not succeed. You will not succeed to govern this government called family. Husband and wife, you need to speak together. Husband and wife, you need to agree from time to time. Husband and wife, you need to speak with one mouth, so that the children can see that this government is fortified. And what the mother says is confirmed by the father. What the father says is confirmed by the mother. And in a country like South Africa, it might be difficult for you. Because of some of you, your husbands are not here. Are not in this country, are probably back home or in another country, trying to fend for the survival of the family. And it might not be easy for you. Some of you, your children are not with you. Some of you, you are staying in the back rooms of the people who have hired you. And then such back rooms cannot accommodate your own children, such that you don't have the luxury of having to see your children growing each day under the same roof with you. And it might be very difficult to spread your wings and cover and give your children the warmth that they deserve. But my prayer for you is that the miraculous grace of St. Anne may overshadow you and your families, so that you may not lose control of the progress of your own children. Because of sometimes when children are not under the proper care of their own families, and they don't feel that they are under a strong shade of the family, vultures will come and tear the family apart. And at the end of the day, Anna fails to communicate values to the daughter Mary. And the next minute, the structure of the family is torn apart. And it can be very painful to wake up every day to work, knowing that you are pouring your resources into a bottomless hole, working day in and day out and not seeing productivity in what you are doing. My prayer for you is that the amazing grace of God may assist you. Your efforts to walk on the shadow of Anne may perform that miracle. And the world may ask one day, how did you succeed to still raise a structured and progressive family despite a world turned upside down? Blessed are your eyes, for they hear what you hear, and they see what you see. Because of many have seen people raising children who desires nothing of their own parents. But here is a family whose children and grandchildren still admire the towering figure of the ancestor. Anne and Joachim, these two remaining alive even when they are gone, because they are a miraculous presence in our world. So may God bless you, dear mothers. Fend for the family. Put the family at the center. Let your efforts be directed towards the empowerment of the family. And may your children see your toil, see your sacrifices, see your efforts, and admire them as Mary admired the sacrifices of her own parents. May God bless you through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen.